seconds and counting.
Hey, what's good, guys? It's Clutch and Timmy here, back in another video. And for today's video, I'm going to talk about the Houston Texans. I'm going to be talking about more draft-related content, and that's probably what we're going to be doing for the next, 4 to 5 weeks. As we know, the draft is coming up. So we're going to be pushing out a lot of draft content, a lot of mock drafts, a lot of player reviews, and stuff like that. But for today's video, I'm going to be talking about Ohio State wide receiver Jaxon Smith-Njigba and why I believe he could be a pick, or at least a potential pick for the Houston Texans, whether that be at 12 or maybe in a trade back, or a trade back / trade down scenario, maybe to 15, somewhere around that range. But let's get right into it. So as we know, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, a lot of people kind of expect him to be a slot receiver in the NFL, but I don't believe that's the case. I believe he has the potential to play outside, and a lot of people were worried about the fit if we were to draft him. How would he fit with John Mechie? Since we already have what we think is probably going to be our slot receiver for the future, how would we draft another one, especially in the first round? And how would we expect it to fit? But I don't think that's the case. I think Jaxon Smith-Njigba can definitely play outside. And just a heads up, he's the same size as Ja'Marr Chase, and Ja'Marr Chase is the Bengals' #1 receiver, and he plays outside. So, I mean, he's similar size. Ja'Marr Chase has great route running, great hands, pretty decent speed, better than average, I think. And Jaxon Smith-Njigba has all of that except for the speed part. Jaxon Smith-Njigba isn't the fastest of guys, but he also isn't the slowest. I guess he did have a little bit of a speed concern. How fast really is he? What's his 40 time going to look like? And he kind of put that to bed. I mean, I think he ran a 4, I want to say it was a 4.58, 4.55, somewhere in that range. And that's actually faster than what DeAndre Hopkins ran. And we all know he was a top 2 wide receiver at one time. That's faster than what I believe Stephon Diggs ran, I want to say. And there's a couple of notable receivers that he ran faster than. So I don't think speed is a concern at all for Jaxon Smith-Njigba. We all know how good of a route runner he is. Probably the best route runner in this class, if not definitely top 3. So he's a good route runner. Pretty okay / manageable speed. It's nothing to be overly concerned about. Hands-wise, I mean, we all know he has pretty good hands. He was C.J. Stroud's favorite target to start up the year, and then, of course, he got hurt. He did have a little bit of lingering injuries with his hamstring, and I guess it's also another concern for him. How are his injuries going to hold up in the NFL? But I don't think it's going to be too much of a concern. I mean, yes, soft tissue injuries are something to be worried about, are something to keep note on. But, I mean, he tested out well. The medical examination or whatever you want to call it, it went well. He went through everything. So there's nothing to be concerned about as of right now. Can it come back? Yes, it always can. I mean, look at Arian Foster. Look at Will Fuller. Look at guys like that. They all pretty much dealt with hamstring injuries throughout their career, to start the career, throughout their career. And, of course, Will Fuller essentially retired because of that. So, I mean, it is something to be a little bit worried about. But, I mean, with Jaxon Smith-Njigba, I'm not really worried about it. I mean, he's been pretty healthy throughout his college career, except for the season. And I think it was more of a cautious type of thing than he really couldn't play. I think if he really wanted to play, he would have. He sat out of the playoffs for some odd reason. I'm not really sure why. Probably just wanted to keep his mind right, be focused, and prepare for the combine and the draft process and all of that. But I don't know. But fitting into this Texans wide receiver room, I don't think it's going to be hard for him at all. I think it's going to be pretty easy. I think he can come in here and probably be our wide receiver 1 from day one, right from the time that he steps foot on the training camp field. Obviously, we have guys like Nico Collins, John Mechie, Robert Woods, Noah Brown, Chris Moore. No, he's a free agent, so not Chris Moore. But Jaxon Smith-Njigba, I think he would come in here right away being wide receiver 1. I mean, Nico Collins, he's respectable. I mean, he's a pretty good receiver. He can still develop into an NFL receiver #1. But as of right now, he's just not that. I think Jaxon Smith-Njigba comes into the NFL being at the same level that Nico Collins is. I mean, Nico Collins is probably going to be good, but I don't really see him as a wide receiver 1 as of right now. So Jaxon Smith-Njigba will come into the NFL, come into the Texans team, into this offense, be the wide receiver #1, be the guy that Bobby Slowick tries to manipulate the game plan, the offensive game plan for, try to get him involved early, try to get those first few plays to him. And, of course, in a West Coast offense, it's going to be a lot of horizontal plays. It's not going to be vertical as much. And thank goodness, because, I mean, as I said earlier, he doesn't have the best vertical speed. It's manageable. It's okay. It's decent, but he doesn't have the best. So you really can't rely on him to be a vertical guy, vertical threat. But he can be a horizontal guy. Again, he has pretty amazing route running, pretty good hands. He's always in the right spot for the quarterback. We saw C.J. Stroud time and time again this season and a little bit last season that Jaxon SmithNjigba was basically a security blanket. Whenever he needed, like it was a third down and he was just running around, trying to escape, trying to get a play off, Jaxon SmithNjigba was always in the right place, right time. I mean, obviously throughout the season that transitioned into being Marvin Harrison Jr. for C.J. Stroud. But when Jaxon SmithNjigba was healthy, he was Stroud's go-to guy pretty much. And I feel like that could be Bryce Young's go-to guy. He's obviously going to come in here, I mean, assuming we drive Bryce Young, he's going to come in here already having chemistry with John Mechie. So, I mean, there's that. And then if you can get another security blanket type of guy, being JSN, coming into the NFL with him, both starting day ones, I mean, I feel like that can create another very, very good connection. They can form a good connection between the two. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. It's just a short little video, quick little rundown on Jaxon SmithNjigba, how he could fit into this offense. I think he would be our number 1 receiver, Nico Collins being our number 2 receiver, and then John Mechie being in the slot. And Robert Woods, he would be more of that mentor guy. He would maybe, I don't know how that would work at first. I mean, Robert Woods is kind of hard to bench him at first. I think Robert Woods would start, at least for the first few games. I'm not sure how that wide receiver room would look, but I mean, I think wide receiver is definitely a need, and I think we should, or at least should consider targeting a receiver in the first round if his name is JSN. But yeah, it's been Clutch City Entertainment, and hope you guys have a good day. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. But it's been Clutch City Entertainment. Peace.